Happened by my computer.
Okay, got it. Sorry.
Call to order, let the record show all councilors are present. And if you're able, please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Last,
Wait,
you got 5,000.
agenda, any additions or deletions?
I have none, Mr. Mayor.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion,
Second.
we have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Consent agenda. Are there any items anybody wishes to discuss further?
Mr. Mayor, I have two that I'd like to move for some further discussion. 3.1, the study session meeting minutes, and then 3.9, the slide and skid unit for grass 3.
Okay, should we do them before the audit presentation, or they're gonna be alone?
Well, I would do it under new business,
Okay,
Mr. Mayor.
so there'll be the first two items of new business. Oh,
7A and 7B.
yeah, I guess, whatever column you want to. Okay, so we have the remainder of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda minus the 3.1 and 3.9, which will be discussed later.
We have a motion,
Second.
we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Okay, we will move on to open forum. Open to public for comment, give your name, address, 3-minute limit, and we do not address legal action. Obviously, there's nobody here, so. But you have something.
A little in a second.
Yeah, you'll get your time. Okay, let's move on to presentation of the 2024 audit.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, this is Jason Miller from Smith Schaefer. They performed our annual audit. They also did the PUC's audit, so it's nice to have one firm doing both. And I'll turn the floor over to Jason. He's got a presentation and then he'll open the floor to questions.
Thank you. Well, Honorable Mayor and members of the council and staff, want to once again thank you for the opportunity to work with the city. Very pleased to report we had another clean audit. The process went well. We felt that the staff was very forthcoming with the information. We didn't have any major concerns, which you'll see. What I'd like to do tonight is present the PowerPoint summary, kind of what I've done in the past. So this is not the actual financial statements, just a high-level summary of those. But certainly if you have questions on the audit, you can stop me as I'm going through the presentation, or as Michelle mentioned, I'll open it up at the end for questions as well.
And if I can interrupt before you get started, if you would like an electronic copy of the financial statements, I can forward them to you, but it's like 100 and some odd pages, so.
good.
It's a lot of information. This summary is probably a little bit more palatable.
Yeah.
And so after the PowerPoint, I'll go through the 2 letters that I've gone through in the past that are required communications for you folks as governance for the city. I'll run through those quickly as well. But with that, I'll start with the PowerPoint. The first slide here, we always like to discuss our audit opinion. So we're providing reasonable but not absolute assurance that the financial statements are fairly stated in accordance with U.S. generally accepted accounting principles. We did issue an unmodified opinion, basically that we did not feel there were any inconsistencies with U.S. GAAP. In every audit we do for municipalities, we're also required to test legal compliance from the state of Minnesota. So we performed certain procedures for that, and we did not note any exceptions in regard to that testing. So the city has different fund types. You have your governmental fund types, your enterprise funds, and your component unit, which is the Public Utilities Commission, which Michelle made reference to. On the governmental side, you have your general fund, special revenue funds, debt service funds, and capital project funds. For your enterprise funds, you have the airport, sanitary sewer, and municipal liquor funds. And then the Public Utilities Commission, as I mentioned, is the component unit. Next, we like to just include a couple slides in regard to the city's revenues. The first one being a very significant portion of any city's revenue, that being property taxes. So you can see property taxes have had a relatively steady rise over the last several years. They increased by about 5% from 23 to 24. If you're looking at governmental revenues, excluding transfers and sales of assets, things like that, your property taxes represent about 36% of your overall revenues. The increase in 2024 was really just related to the increase in the levy, so the collections followed closely along with that. This next slide puts the property tax revenues with the rest of your revenues. Typically, that property tax bar is going to be the highest bar in every year, but you can see in 24, you had some significant intergovernmental revenues. There was a grant for police aid. There was, I think, an economic development grant. There were some reimbursements for the street project. So that was a very significant part of your revenues in 2024. But you can see the rest of the revenues, relatively small portion of your overall. Then we switch to the expenditure side. The first department is the general government. And this department represents about 29% of your total governmental expenditures when you exclude capital projects and debt service. Totaled $1,858,000 in 2024, which was a significant increase of $843,000 from the prior year, and that is primarily due to the street costs. So you had the larger street projects in 2024. Public safety is next, and this is the city's largest department from an expenditure standpoint. So you can see that represents about 43% of total governmental expenditures, again excluding capital projects and debt service. And it was relatively flat from 23 to 24. Cemetery is next. Obviously, this is a small portion of the city's overall budget, representing only about 2% of expenditures. Totaled $119,000 in 24, which was an 8% increase from 23, related mainly to staffing and related costs. Next up is your public works, representing 10% of total expenditures, excluding capital projects and debt service. Totaled about $620,000 in 2024, a decrease of about 11% from 23, and that decrease was due to some open staffing positions as a result of being unable to fill those.
What did you say?
So temporarily, I think we had a small gap.
Sure. Parks and Rec is next, totaled about $377,000 in 24, which was a 14% increase from 23, and that increase is primarily due to park maintenance wages and related expenditures going up. Economic development is next, came in at about $702,000, which was a very sizable decrease from 23, 59% decrease. And that was because in 23 you had significant expenses related to the development of the Princeton Business Park. So kind of a shift there. Your general fund, you had the large project this year versus economic development, you had the large expenditures last year. Then this slide just pulls together the previous 5 or 6 slides to show the different departments. So you can see where the bulk of the city's dollars go. Obviously, the general government and public safety are the most significant expenditures on a year-by-year basis. And then the following slide is just a pie chart pulling together that same information so you can see the percentages, how much of every dollar that the city spends, other than capital projects and debt service, goes to the different departments. And you can see that the departmental breakdown is pretty consistent from year to year, other than that flip-flop that we talked about between economic development and general government for the 2 large projects that happened the last couple of years. Next, we always like to put in a slide just showing the general fund balance, or the reserve, compared to expenditures. So it may look alarming to see that that large decrease from 23 to 24. But really, the fact that you had the large expenditures in the current year, it kind of skews that. Not to mention the fact that I understand there's some more money coming into the general fund to reimburse for expenditures that were incurred in 24.
If I can just follow up on that comment, so, as part of the joint project we did with Mille Lacs County, we're currently waiting on about $750,000 from Mille Lacs County for the street portion, and we have about $600,000 coming from the Small Cities Grant. So we'll start seeing reimbursements from the state on both those. So next year, the 2025 numbers are gonna be skewed again because we had expenses in 24 that are being reimbursed in 25, so.
Right. So you'll probably see that number bounce way back up.
Yeah.
When you couple the fact that you're getting that money back for reimbursements along with reduced expenditures.
Can I ask a question back on fund revenues? The intergovernmental revenue, is all of that funding tied specifically to certain projects or, okay?
Well, it depends on what the funding is. So like, for example, Jason noted public safety dollars. There was about $230,000. That was specifically earmarked by the legislature for the police and fire departments. Local government aid is an intergovernmental revenue. That's
restricted for any purpose.
that goes general, that goes straight to the general operating. We also have payments from the townships for the fire contract. We have payments from the school district for the school resource officers. So you can imagine that those last two go specifically to like the police department or the fire department. So.
So there's a lot of different uses and requirements on the intergovernmental funds, but the big ones that don't have any requirements on them is like the LGA and other, miscellaneous smaller grants.
Okay. Thank you.
This next slide, then we always just like to put in there to point out why it's good to have those reserves in your funds. You have cash flow timing differences when you're receiving cash versus when it's going out the door. You may need capital outlay replacement dollars. The city council may want special projects. So, it's good to have those things. And some of the benefits of having those reserves, it helps with your bond rating. It helps with investment earnings. Allows you time to study the effects of revenue cuts as they come up. It just kind of provides you with that overall kind of rainy day fund. So I always like to throw that slide in there as well. Next, we'll talk a little bit about debt service. So this first slide shows the total debt outstanding by type of issuance. So you have your general obligation bonds as well as your general obligation revenue bonds. General obligation revenue bonds, typically you're going to see those in the enterprise funds. Over on the right, we've listed the balances of those different debt issuances as of the end of the year. All payments have been are being made on a timely basis, and these, because they're general obligation bonds, are supported by property taxes, special assessments, and municipal state aid. And then this next slide just shows your next 5-year debt service requirements. So this includes all principal and interest. Just kind of gives you an idea of what the debt requirements are that the city's going to have to pay over the next 5 years based on debt outstanding at the end of the year. Capital projects is next one quick slide, just to show the amount of capital expenditures during the last couple of years and the significant projects that went on. The big ones are going to be the CASA 4, the 7th Avenue North reconstruction, the North Lift station reconstruction, and then some equipment type of purchases as well. And they're compared there to on the bottom portion on the right, the 23 significant capital projects. Then we include some slides in regards to the city's enterprise funds. First up is the airport fund. So you can see very little revenues coming in from the airport fund, significant operating expenses, much of which is depreciation, so it's a non-cash type of an expense. But because of the differential between the operating expenses and revenues, you have a significant operating loss for the year in the fund. that's been ongoing in that fund. You have a little bit of other income, probably, I believe, investment income for the fund, bringing you to a net loss for the year before considering transfers and capital contributions.
This is the entire airport budget.
Excuse me?
This is the entire airport budget.
Entire airport fund.
Fund, yes.
And 95% of that is state and federal money.
Is,
State and federal money.
correct, yeah. Well, there's very little revenue allocated to that fund. I think it's probably user fees and
Lease
rents. Yeah, rents.
And fuel sales,
Yep,
basically. So everything else is a expenditure offset by 95% fund dollars coming back from the federal and state grant dollars.
yep, there's capital contributions into the fund, and if necessary, then you could transfer money into the fund, or else, you also do have the significant fund balance. It's just kind of being whittled away with depreciation over the years. And again, a non-cash expense. Next up is the sanitary sewer fund. Fairly significant revenues there, operating expenses less than the revenues, which is what you like to see in most of your utility funds. So it netted positive operating income. The other income expense there, the yellow bar that's below the line, that's really the interest expense on the debt for the sewer fund. And then that, even with that, you have positive net income for the year before transfers and capital contributions, yes. And then the last fund is the municipal liquor fund. Very significant revenues, always does well, outpacing the operating expenses, leaving you net operating income a fairly significant amount, a little bit of investment income as well to add to get to your net income before transfers and capital contributions. So another nice year for the liquor fund.
So net income looks to be about just a little over $1 million.
Correct.
Is that what that was from?
Yep. So a very positive year.
Can I just ask a general ignorant question about the airport?
Yeah.
If we are looking at those and you see revenues for municipal liquor, sanitary sewer in the positive, in the airport, we're just kind of operating.
Mhm.
Is it external benefit of having it for businesses and things? That's why we're valuing the airport and committed to that. And I guess I don't know the background other than how it got there, but like
Well, the airport's been around.
I like the fly brunch and everything
Yeah.
like that, but
I mean, the airport's been around, I mean, at least the zoning for it has been around since, what, 1980 something?
Mhm.
Or even before then?
About 1950.
Yeah, 1950, so, I mean, we've had an airport for 70 years. The council has been very judicious as to what kind of funds they transfer in or don't transfer in. I've been attempting to and working towards trying to make it at least break even, but depreciation is a big
right.
issue. I mean, we spent, I don't know, Bob, jog my memory, what was the taxiway cost? A couple million? Probably, and that was three. And so even though, our capital outlay for reconstructing the taxiway and the runways is basically 5% of the project costs, that's still money that we have to fund. And so, then we have depreciation, so we might not have necessarily, and we get dollars from the state for maintenance and operations. We try to make sure that we're selling fuel to make a little bit of a profit. That's a service we offer. So that's why the discussions about the capital expenses are so critical, because we do know that, and in the past, there's been more significant general fund dollars transferred into the airport fund.
Right.
And so we really haven't been doing that in the last 3 to 5 years, because it's really something that not every taxpayer in the city flies a plane. And so we need to work towards making the airport operate
Yeah, kind of
more
self-sustainable,
self-sufficient. Correct, we haven't quite gotten there yet,
Mhm.
but we're working towards that.
Well, and the thing of it is too, because we did so much in the feds.
Yeah.
We're kind of stuck with it. Like if we were to close it because we were like, okay, we're spending all this taxpayer money on the airport and it's not benefiting everybody,
Mhm.
right? But fixing our streets benefits everybody, so maybe we want to spend more money there.
Mhm.
But if we were to shut it down or stop operating it properly, we'd have to pay back a lot of money,
Mhm.
right?
Correct, in fact, it's
So
interesting
we're kind of
because
stuck, but we don't have to keep spending a ton of money on stuff we don't have to have out there. So,
it's interesting because I'm currently in conversation, Mille Lacs County needs to acquire a road easement, and they're paying us, obviously they're going to pay us for the easement area that they're taking.
Yeah.
But conversational email strings that I have between the airport engineer, the FAA guy, and the WSB, who is the company that's been hired to do the analysis and the appraisals,
Mhm.
is getting very super complicated because, again, like Councilor Gerald said, grant dollars, where does that money go that we get for the easement? It impacts the airport layout plan, and it's a $20,000 payment to the city that is gonna have about 800 tentacles
Yeah.
to it before we can actually close the deal with the county.
Mhm.
It's extremely complicated.
So you do have a significant asset there, and like, other than land, assets depreciate over time, so that's when we're talking about with depreciation, you have the life of that asset depreciated, that hits your income statement for the year. So even though you're seeing pretty large, or relatively large losses, the actual cash outlay, net outlay isn't nearly as large because of that depreciation. And like you mentioned, it's kind of a feather in your cap to have an airport and to, have that available for your citizens, for businesses, whatever the case may be.
I personally about defining the airport as an asset to any city that has one. It really can't be measured in dollars and cents.
Yeah.
It's just an asset to have.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I've been here 74 years. Most of the land belonged to my father at one time.
Wow,
And that had nothing to do with it, but it's
sure.
a point.
All right, well, getting back to the presentation then, the enterprise funds combined look like this. You can see very sizable revenues, very sizable operating expenses, but coming down to an overall operating income, a little bit of other income to increase it to a good sized net income, again, before transfers and capital contributions for the year. So a couple notes on the enterprise funds. They are designed to be supported by ratepayers. The other income that I kept mentioning in the yellow bars in the previous slides would include your rental income, some intergovernmental revenues, investment earnings, or loss in some cases, and interest expense. The overall net position for the year increased by $1,069,000. So overall successful, even though the airport fund was a decrease, overall you had an increase in your enterprise funds, and the net position balances at the end of the year were positive for all funds. So in summary, we did issue our unmodified audit opinion. We didn't have any legal compliance exceptions noted in our testing. The unassigned and assigned fund balance in the general fund at the end of the year was over $1.1 million, which again was the 12% of 24 expenditures, which will bump up next year. The total bonds outstanding for the city at the end of the year were just over $16 million. That should say 24 instead of 23. So that was the summary of the financial statements. The other item I mentioned I wanted to run quickly through were the two letters to you folks as governance. The first one is a standard communication. Every audit we do city, for-profit, nonprofit, we are required to issue a letter like this. Nothing big to point out, you know, we note that the significant risks that we identified for planning our audit procedures. We list out some significant estimates. Nothing real big to point out in there, pretty standard communication. Like I said, it was a pretty clean audit. We didn't run into any issues there that we noted in our procedures. The only other thing I'll point out in regards to that letter, attached to the last page, we list a couple of past journal entries. So we assess materiality when we plan our audit. If we come across adjustments that are below materiality, we don't want to look into them further, or we don't feel it's necessary to make the adjustment, we can pass on them. So we just want to make that known to you that there are a couple of adjustments that we did not make to the financial statements because they were below materiality. First one being accrued payroll. I believe the city calculated one more day than what we calculated should have been for accrued payroll at the end of the year. And the other was just in regards to our testing. We test some inventory at the liquor store. And if we come up with differences in the counts, what we do is we take what we sampled, the test that we sampled, extrapolate that over the entirety of the inventory for the liquor store, and call that a difference rather than trying to dig into it. And that was a relatively small $10,000 difference there. And it may not even be a true difference. It's just the fact that we didn't feel it was necessary to look into any further. And then the other letter is what's commonly referred to as the management letter. So in here we list any significant deficiencies in internal control that we noted, any material weaknesses that we would have noted, and any other suggestions that we have. If you were here the first year that Smith Schaefer started doing the audit for the city a few years back, there was kind of a laundry list of things that we recommend the city do, some deficiencies in internal control that we noted. It's down to one item now. It's just the segregation of duties. The fact that you don't have enough staff to segregate every duty from an internal control standpoint. We wouldn't expect you to hire staff to do so. That probably wouldn't be very prudent with the citizens' money, but we need to bring that to your attention, the fact that that is a risk. You do put in controls to mitigate your risks, reviews, approval processes, things of that nature. So you are mitigating your risk, but the fact that every duty isn't completely segregated, we're required to communicate that. So very, very standard communication there as well. So
I have yet to see an audit that didn't have that.
Yeah, correct. Most of the clients we deal with, we're going to have this comment just because, you'd have to have a pretty healthy financial services department to not have it. So that's everything I had for you guys tonight. I'd be willing to answer any additional questions.
Anybody have any questions?
I don't think so.
Cheryl?
No, I just appreciate their work. While we're using Abdul less and less, we do run into a question occasionally, so I appreciate the council allowing us to continue to use them. I think our monthly usage is, there are some months that we don't contact them anymore at all. So Lynn has done an excellent job learning governmental audits. She's doing an excellent job, and at least she and I, we work with the various department heads to try to figure out how to make sure we're doing something so that we don't have extra work before the audit. So we just keep kind of working the process to make sure that A, we're doing things correctly, but also B, we're doing things in a way that makes less work at the end of the day. So.
Yeah, and we appreciate it when clients reach out to us with questions. It's much easier to fix things up front than to try to fix them later.
Well, it's good. We're in a good financial position, so make all of our jobs easier, I guess. Anybody else have anything? If not, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you all for your time. Have a good evening.
Okay.
Good job, staff.
Oh, thank you.
There is no old business.
Nope.
We'll do 7A first, I guess. That'll be the council study session then.
Yeah. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the meeting minutes, it says that, let me find it. Staff was directed to contact Laserfish to get cost estimates on the various add-ons that were not included. But I think the conversation was to contact both of them because I think both of them had some
Correct.
add-ons, right?
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that that was,
Yes, it was to contact both of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, so there's that. And then I think the other thing that's not in here was, Michelle, you had said that you guys would maybe go visit a couple of users.
Correct, we have not done that yet. But yes,
To
yep,
get like their opinions and like a quick little demo and all that
Yep.
stuff, so.
Yep.
I just wanna kind of make note of that, if you would, Sean. If we're gonna do that.
Okay, you wanna take action on that one or do them both together or?
no, yeah.
Oh, we can do them both together, I think.
I don't know what the protocol is.
Yeah, you can, I mean,
It can go in the same little,
yep, I mean, the motion could be moved to approve the study session minutes of July 8th, adding that both vendors would be contacted for any undocumented or unidentified add-on costs, and that staff will be arranging tours of other facilities.
okay, I'll make that motion.
Yes, that.
I'll second.
I was confused, I thought, was making two issues out of 7A or 7A, and I'm sorry, we're fine. I want to try to explain it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion, do we have a second?
I second.
Okay. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that carries. And then we'll move on to 7B.
Okay,
That's where I was confused in my mind.
I see. So this is in regards to the CIP purchase. Let me go to there. For the slide-in skid unit for grass 3. So I just have a question for Steve. In looking at the two bids, I understand Jefferson Fire is, like $3,000, almost $4,000 less than McQueen. But if you look at them, Jefferson says it does not include the foam drop-in, but the McQueen quote did include the foam. So I'm just wondering, I'm assuming you guys aren't gonna put foam on a grass rig?
Correct.
Yeah. So is there a reason why we didn't have McQueen take that out of the quote?
They didn't offer it.
But if you didn't want it,
So these are pre-built,
okay,
so they subcontract them.
So there isn't an option to take it off.
They didn't have that option. They didn't
probably
present that option to us.
Work to take it off then,
Correct.
yeah.
It's like if you order a car now and you want roll-up windows.
okay. It's not an apples to apples quote, that's why I'm asking. I'm assuming with the increase in McQueen's other items, they still may have been a higher one, but it would have been nice to know what that price would have been without the foam, is all I'm saying. So I don't know if we want to do anything about that or.
Do you know if they have a,
We would have to go to another vendor, to acquire that. And for us as a department, it was like, okay, we don't need foam,
Yeah.
I guess my question to you, Steve, is does McQueen offer a skid that doesn't have the foam, that just has, do you know if they make that?
They don't, but there are some that do.
Other than Jefferson?
Correct. I don't know, part of the reason also is with the, not I included on this item, but when we were pricing them out for the quotes for the grant, they had to be American made, there was.
Yeah.
So
Specific.
that limits you also.
Right. I wonder what the difference is for the foam thing.
And also, yeah, McQueen also went up during the process. Every 2 months, they seem to jack up the price a little, or
I think
increase the price.
if I remember right, over the years, they've been a little more expensive. Maybe Ron, you can chime in. Haven't they kind of been a little more expensive than other
McQueen?
companies in the past? Yeah,
Yeah, they have.
okay.
I didn't think it was that kind of difference to expensive, but they were always a little more expensive with their equipment.
I don't know, the bottom line, are we getting what we're paying for, I guess, that's, I mean, I'm always, the person, the cheapest isn't always the best.
Correct, and Jefferson is,
Well, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but.
they are a very reputable company, you
Yeah.
know, it's a
Yeah.
quality
Yeah.
piece of equipment.
Sometimes you get what you pay for too, so. So I don't know, what you pulled it, so.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I think I'm probably fine with it, knowing that in the past McQueen's been a little bit. I just didn't know what the difference would be without the phone. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I would have more concerns if it was an RFP and we were just like going, well, this one has something we don't need, so we're just gonna pick this one. Then I might have concerns and ask, well, why are we going for that one? But I don't have enough in the game for this one to know if it would be a problem, so.
I think these are generally the two that I'd go with.
But, yeah,
Yeah, just so you know, there are other places where you can acquire these. But it's basically a catalog. You don't know where, you know, there is no company, there's no Jefferson or McQueen backing them up. You're on your own, so.
well, I don't know, I'm comfortable if they did their due diligence and think they're getting what, the best bang for your buck, I guess. Put it simply, that's what I meant, so.
Yeah, I'm okay with it as well too.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll be fine with it this time, but in the future, I'd like to see apples to apples. And if it's not, maybe a memo of why or something, but it would be nice to know what that price difference would have been without the phone cell in there.
Just a general question, like time frame on like a need for this or how soon? I mean, is this something that they need to get done like rather quickly? Or if this issue ever comes up again, is there time to throw it off and pull some quotes and?
Yeah, and, this time it's a little more time sensitive because everything's coming together at the same time.
Okay.
But knowing that, we will do that more,
Awesome.
dive into it more.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big expense, so, yeah, okay.
Did you weigh in yet, Derek, or?
I'm also don't have a lot of, for me, I feel like I can understand I feel like if McQueen has been noted as always getting higher and higher, and they've already come back and brought it up a few times. And Jefferson is reputable, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Yeah, okay. I'm fine with that.
You're gonna move that?
Make a motion to approve 7B, which was 3.9 CIP purchase for slide-in skid unit for grass 3.
We have a motion,
Second?
I have a second. Any further discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Okay, we shall move on to 7.1. That I'm guessing is yours, Ron?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. On the memo before you, once again, Twice New Clothing has been very generous to the city of Princeton. I did approach them for a grant or donation towards the AEDs, and they came up with this wonderful amount, $750.
to purchase towards them, so, just asking that the council approve this donation and we keep going, and we'll have another one in a couple weeks, I think, so,
How many units will that buy you?
$750?
Yeah.
Not one,
Not even one?
half,
A third of a one.
a third of the one, yeah.
Wow. Man, they've gotten expensive.
It'll buy us an A, we just have to get the,
What's that?
it'll buy us an A.
Yeah. We still need the fifth.
Yes.
I'm still waiting to hear from some other companies that we asked for donations from, and I will have one on the next council meeting that's
Okay.
very, very significant and
Okay.
very appreciative, so.
Good.
This is a start.
Okay.
And they have been more than generous.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take what they offer.
So it's
I was again.
13,750 year to date.
It's awesome.
Wow.
All right, action.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2546, accepting a donation from Twice New Clothing and Treasures to the Princeton Emergency Management for an AED.
You have a motion,
Second.
you have a second. Any further discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that carries.
Thank you.
7.3, no, 7.2, I'm sorry. 7.2, donation for splash park, another one.
I changed the numbers.
Oh, okay, 'cause I was like, how are these the same number? Okay, so it's 48?
No, the twice new is 2547.
Oh.
And then yours is 2546. I put them on the spreadsheet and I think it didn't save and then you.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right, gotcha. I was like, oh,
So you're gonna make those corrections.
Yep. Already did.
thanks, John.
All right.
Uh,
Need action, or you wanna go ahead?
Yep, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Resolution 2546 is a resolution accepting $300 from the Princeton Pet Hospital, who contributed to offer a free day at the splash park on August 17th. We are now officially at the same number of free days as last year, and we have a couple more that are pending coming in right now, so we should exceed.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2546 and accept donation for Splash Park Free Day.
Have a motion,
Second?
have a second. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that carries. Now 7.3, is that yours, Steve? or-
Yes. Mr. Mayor, council members, a while back, I was in here to ask to declare the old grass 1 excess property, so we could trade it in. As in the memo, we did purchase a 2025 Can-Am, and this side-by-side is better designed to handle the weight of the slide-in skid unit. It spreads it out better. It's a longer axle, or longer length between axles. So we have acquired that. We have switched it over, and we are now, and it is in service, and it is now ready to be donated back to the city. Any questions on the numbers or anything?
We just got booted out, hold on a second. We're all like scrambling to pull it back up again.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, that went really quiet.
because the book rebuilt.
We're not ignoring you, Steve.
It wouldn't let us
I was like,
continue
okay.
anyways.
No, I'm back.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so it looks like the total was 23,150. And the trade-in was 5,500. So the Relief Association is contributing 17,650.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions for Steve? I have nothing.
I'll make a motion to accept the donation from the Princeton Fire Relief Association for the Can-Am side-by-side.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that carries. We'll move on to 7.4, which is the budget and authorized purchase of a sliding skid unit for using grant dollars. Okay. That's your stool here.
Yep. Mr. Mayor, council members, throughout the spring and summer, we applied for a grant through the Department of Interior for a slip-in or slide-in skid unit. Originally, we were looking to subsidize the replacement of grass 3. After having the funding lined up for that through CIP and being awarded the grant, we have Utility 6, which is also a 350 F-350 club cab or crew cab, 2018, and that truck right now is being used to pull a trailer and also to take for a transportation for members to go to classes, and also used to haul hoses and just other items back from more significant events. We saw it as an opportunity to utilize that truck a little bit more, especially since we were awarded that grant. So we did look into that, and we did get a quote from Jefferson, and also it's the same skid unit.
So that one wouldn't need foam either?
No.
Okay.
We did do our due diligence on that. I did ask everybody there, when's the last time we used foam on a brush fire or a grass fire? No one had an answer. And I know from my experience also, it's not you can always add it to the tank if you need to. It can be a little bit of a mess, but that's why it was eliminated. And that's the same reason, one of the reasons for eliminating or getting rid of the old grass 3, which is a dually, and Ron and Bob can speak to it more than me, which is a very nice truck, but it is more of a brush truck, designed more for, you can use it for grass fires, no problem, but it's more for like bigger forest fires, and it's more acceptable for that than our grass rigs would be. So now we will have all the grass rigs will be virtually the same.
Okay, so it looks like we're looking to amend the CIP budget for 2025.
Correct, so this, additional skid unit, it exceeds the $2,500 for the CIP budget. It was not anticipated. The department's been doing its due diligence, looking at its equipment. So the motion will amend the CIP budget to add the unit, and also then you'll authorize purchase of the slide-in using grant dollars.
Okay, that can be done in one motion?
Yep, it can be done in one motion. Would you like me to say the motion?
I think we got it.
You got it.
Okay,
All right, I will make a motion to amend the 2025 CIP budget and authorize purchase of a slide-in skid unit for the fire department using grant dollars.
okay, we have a motion,
I'll second.
and we have a second. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. We shall move on to 7.5, ordinance 879, amending Title 6, Section 615.04. I'm thinking that's yours, Stacy?
No, another one is. I know why we have this tonight. Man.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. This is to introduce ordinance 879, which is in our general code of ordinances under nuisances and offenses, Basically, this is our grass ordinance, so when property owners, have an excess of 6 inches in height or more or weeds, we refer to this ordinance to have them maintain and mow their lawn. Traditionally, we have suggested to property owners that they need to maintain to the road right of way, the alley right of way, on both sides of sidewalks, things like that. After doing a little bit more digging, we realized that our ordinance actually didn't say that. I did some research on different city ordinances and found that that is a pretty common standard to have the adjacent property owners maintain up to the road right of way, or up to the traveled street or the traveled alley on the sides of hypothetically a sidewalk. So it just took a small tweak to our language to add in the underlined red language into our existing ordinance to accommodate that.
Do we get a lot of complaints on properties?
Don't even ask.
Yes, we do.
What is the enforcement?
Well, our ordinance has always said that they have to mow, in excess of 6 inches in height. It just wasn't specifying that they needed to mow it out to the edge of the road.
But they all used to until
Yeah.
this year, and then
Yes. it
tons
just
of people
exploded.
decided they didn't have to do it anymore.
Yeah, and part of the, I don't know if it's complaints or part of the issue on this particular year, I think, is we had a road project where, they were putting down seed and then it kind of exacerbated this whole issue. They didn't know if they were supposed to mow, and then it got really long, so we emailed them, or we sent them letters saying that they can now mow as the seed is, established. And then we had a couple people say, well, why do we need to mow to the edge of the road? And so, digging a little deeper, like I said, and I kind of knew that this might come up at some point, just not as much as it did this year. This will take care of, and we will have something to fall back on if we are challenged.
What happens if you're unsure of who the property owner is after someone passes? Like, would you contact
It's
somebody?
owner occupants, so I mean, if it's a vacant property, quite frankly, we have to send demand notices to whoever we have identified as the owner of record, if nothing locally, then through county records.
Mhm.
And then we wait I think it's 7 days, I wanna say. And if they don't correct the problem, and if there's nobody living there and the owner's dead, then it wouldn't be fixed, we would go on, and I think we contract with lawn care companies and whatnot to do that, and then we send the bill, and then when it doesn't get paid, it's assessed as property with property taxes. So that's how we recoup our money on the back end.
There is more overall to this ordinance, which goes into that part of it, like how you.
We're just acting on this change tonight, so.
Yeah, it's just this, I didn't put the whole ordinance in here, I mean, the whole like code, just the paragraph and the section that applies to this particular issue. You scalp it, you scalp your lawn, don't you?
Probably,
I don't. I'm just saying.
probably a million questions could be asked, but we're only acting on this change in that
Yes.
portion of the,
Yes, yep.
so let's limit it to that.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 879, amending Title 6, Section 615.04, first reading.
I will second that.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. Okay, we should probably pass on this one.
Sure.
You're gonna handle that, Michelle?
Yeah, I think I need to handle it. So I'm wearing my Fair Board president hat now. I come before you, first of all, thank you for allowing the parking of stock trailers last year on the unoccupied or unused portion of the community garden area north of the fairground, north fence line. It was very successful. It opened up additional parking for our patrons. And so now I am back to, because I never want to assume that I can continue to do this, so that would be not a good thing. However, this year we have a slight twist. We would like to actually expand our request. I've attached a map. We had a request to allow passenger vehicle parking in our camping area, which is along the north and west fence lines right next to the horse arena. And that becomes problematic for a number of reasons. So we are proposing to move the 4-H passenger vehicles in the area immediately adjacent to the garden gate. And then we would like permission to park the stock trailers more along kind of west of the compost pile and more along the Highway 169 fence line. And then I'm also asking if there's a way to knock down some of the tall grass so that drivers can, okay, can get their trailers back there. So that is the, I'm representing the Fair Board. That is our request to the city for this year.
So I'm looking here, your trailers generally unload and they're out of sight till they go home again.
Correct.
That they're way back out of the way.
Correct. They might have.
Your other vehicles are in and out pretty much.
Correct. So we have working parents who, you know, come help their kids go on during the day. Or they might need to take their personal vehicles home because as well organized as they try to be, the kid might need something that was left at home, or they need to get additional feed or hay or whatever. The stock trailers sometimes will hold their additional supplies. And they can access that. We have ways to get folks back to their trailers if they need to get stuff and whatnot, but it'll just be more convenient. And it also then limits extra passenger vehicle traffic coming out of our camping area and traveling through that horse arena space and on Friday nights through the speedway, car haulers and everything else. So we're just trying to reduce the potential for accidents and liability.
It's just a convenient piece of property that we're not using for anything right now.
Would the city be liable for anything if it happens while it's in our cemetery? Or their stuff?
Well, everybody has insurance and so do we. So I would say that liability would go to the fair's insurance.
So this action would kind of address that too, I suppose,
Correct.
by having it officially allowed.
Correct. I mean, and that's part of the reason why I come and ask each year, because then it's on record that it is our activity, it's our event, it's our people, you know, and ultimately we and the participants are responsible.
The David question, should we have some verbiage to address that, or?
I don't think so. We've not had to do that in the past, and Michelle's correct. I mean, if there's insurance in place that everybody has, that's gonna cover whatever happens.
Yeah, they're gonna tag, I mean, that's why we carry liability insurance, so.
Any more?
Do you have any problem with clearing the grass?
I have a lot of problems.
I'm not asking for it to look like a golf course.
No, there's no issue. I'm sure Randy probably got something that helps us, worst come to worst.
All right,
All right,
make a motion to, I guess, approve the request from Knox County Fair to use city property for parking.
motion,
I'll second.
we have a second. Any other questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and that carries. So we'll move on to the bill list.
We have questions?
I don't know, I signed the check, I hope you're good.
I don't have it either. If nobody does. Okay. I move to approve the July 24, 2025 check register containing checks 89644 to 89674 and ACH payments 251402 to 251429 and 724251 and 724252 in the amount of $600,177.01. And the pay period 15 check register containing checks 251510001 to 2515198 and 2025199 to 202511108 in the amount of $198,469.15.
Okay, we have a motion?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So that carries.
I just want to say it was a large amount because we had some bonds and a bunch of insurance. Right?
Correct.
Why it was so high this.
Yep, yeah, and I did not include both insurance premiums because the next one's not due until September, so you'll see the next insurance. That premium payment was just for the workers' comp payment, so.
Okay, your report, Michelle?
We have a pre-construction meeting next week for the perimeter fence project, where development is kind of just chugging along. We did relocate the finance software on site, which is working out well. As noted, we have an accountant. Kavira provided a utilization report through the end of June for the year. I have been informed by NFP that small group insurance increases are estimated to fall between 9 and 12%. So when I do the budget, I'm going to use 15 just to give us ourselves a enough of a cushion. We have to start paying into the Minnesota Paid Family Leave Program in 2026. We are looking to we are allowed to go through the private sector and not pay into the state program. And given recent experiences, I'm going to recommend that we pursue a private sector solution. And in fact, we do have a preliminary number back from NFP, and it's just a hair lower than what we would be paying if we were going to be paying into the state system. So we still need to talk about as a group whether or not we are going to absorb that cost or if we're going to share that with the employees. We can share up to 50%. So we did the space needs study kickoff. Keith and I met with Leo A. Daly on the 10th, and then they were here Monday to talk to all the staff to get their input. So we'll see what comes back. There'll be a brainstorming session in August. Progress is moving forward on the design or the feasibility study for 3rd Street. We met yesterday on that. I continue to participate in Representative Emmer's monthly call. It's always interesting to hear kind of what's going on at the federal level and what's going on and the concerns of our neighbors that are in his district. And then upcoming meetings, and I didn't know it's Review Park at Riverside for the park meeting on Monday. I'll be working from home Monday. I know, but I did this before.
I thought you went in the packet that one.
No. Please note that the August 7th study session is at the Public Safety Building, not here. Emergency management has prepared another exercise for us. So I can hardly wait. They have not shared any details, so I'll be just as surprised as the rest of you.
Bingo.
That sounded evil. I'd like to invite you all to the annual county fair, August 6th through 10th. Everybody got their armbands today.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I will, obviously, pardon me?
That is just right around the corner.
Yeah, tell me about it. So I will be mostly out of the office, August 4th through the 8th, but everybody knows where to find me, when I'm over there. And depending on, when our accountant confirms her start date, I may actually be in the office on the 4th of August to get her started and get her onboarded. So that's all I got. We have lots of stuff planned. I think we are up to 22 food vendors.
Yay.
All kinds of stuff. Coffee, lemonades, Thai food, 2 barbecue folks, mini cinnamon rolls. Obviously, our pork producers are here.
Like 2 blocks away, so
Mm.
that's my dinner for the week.
Yeah, the coffee vendor is, it's called Rising Heroes or something. They're out of Bemidji, so they're coming down. I will tell you, yesterday my email was bombarded with duplicate spam emails from PETA. Because they're eating tasty. Well, not those too. They're not happy that we have the tiger encounter coming. They're a vendor out of Florida. They have 2 Bengal tigers and they're bringing a lion cub to do. It's an educational thing. They do shows, but yeah. So
They're mad at you about that?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. They're angry. So.
How many are we up to?
10,000.
10,000 emails we looked at today.
Oh, yeah. They've been
They're
blocked.
just inundating.
Correct. And it's
Wow.
interesting, the text of the emails is exactly the same.
Yeah,
It's
they
like-
provide that.
Is it city or county fair? Are you getting that?
Actually, it's coming to my work email.
Really?
But it's, been blocked.
Yeah, set a rule and
Yep.
send it to Public Works.
Please forward.
Anyway, I think we have a really good variety of things. We expanded the poultry building this year because we have so many rabbits and, poultry, the kids groups. We also have a record number of sheep and goats this year. We have more mini horses than we've ever had before. Hope for good weather and I invite you all to come visit.
Don't forget American Legion Bingo.
Oh, yeah.
Our new roof.
Yep.
I don't,
That's
is
80%
that
of my time.
our pavilion? What do we call it?
It's called the bingo, it's the
Bingo.
bingo pavilion,
Okay.
so.
Can I ask a question on the 3rd Street project? Is it
Correct.
possible to be less snug? Because like if Amazon or UPS stop as I'm heading home, traffic has to take turns.
We had that discussion.
Yes,
Okay.
we've had that discussion, so.
School buses were a hoot too, but yeah.
In your report, you mentioned Kabir here. I've heard a couple comments from a couple of the employees that everybody really seems to be happy. Or I think what I've heard, is we're pretty happy with that improvement or.
I believe so, the people that, I know that, Todd's used it, I think Ed's used it, I don't know, Chris, have you used it?
Yeah.
So there's been a number of officers that have used it.
I've heard positive, but it isn't a lot, I'm a big sample, but I've heard positive, what I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard any negative, I mean,
Well, I
you know,
have
they do.
one, but I didn't complain about it yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Anyway, I mean, they do house calls, they
One
do.
out of how many?
So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's going well, so.
I just want to throw that in. Anything else?
I got nothing.
Okay, we'll move on to committee reports. We had our monthly, public utilities meeting yesterday. Only had 2 items actually. We approved a joint meeting with the council. Was our normal work session, so I don't, we ever got back on it. We probably won't. But we approved that'll be our joint meeting with the council.
September.
And I don't know, I think the vice chair out there is gonna run their meeting, because I'll have to run this one, and I don't know, we'll have to work that out, so. And we did, Mr. Butcher's, annual review. And there should be no surprise that it went very well. We're just delighted to have him here. Very good review. There's a step increase, and everybody's happy. And that's all I've got. Anybody else?
Planning commission met on Monday and we approved a chicken permit. That is it.
Good job. Good
Yep,
job.
got it done.
I missed the chamber meeting, Dylan, anything the council needs to know about from the chamber meeting?
We just went over this year's, like, what was the thing in July? The Rumble Festival and the parade and any potential changes. Yeah,
For next year.
yeah, for next year, since we're not gonna do the duck.
Yep.
So we're talking about maybe doing another all-class union, which has not been done, I guess, since 2001 in Princeton, so we're gonna try and do one of those together on that Saturday instead. And then we talked about August 14th as our next Pizza Puzzle Pub night, so.
What did I see on Facebook about you running across the river?
Oh, yes, tomorrow is Kim's birthday. Kim's birthday tomorrow, so.
Young's birthday?
Yep, so she won't be in the office tomorrow, so they tricked her to Minco today.
Yeah.
And of course, they told me 2 minutes before they told her to be there, like, hey, you should come over for this. I'm like, oh. Yeah, so, yeah. They're like, what did you drive? I'm like, it's across the street. I'm not gonna drive over there. So, yeah, so it was pretty funny.
Okay, thank you, Dylan.
Yep.
Anybody else?
I didn't have anything.
We can move on to number 9.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.